Bring it up. Brandon is going to be shooting the real Chawa blaster, which was modeled after a British grenade launcher pistol. Ew. So I think this is gonna be fun. Shall we chat?
Good morning, Starshine. The galaxy says hello. This is the Lee Enfield. Chambered in .303 British, this was the main British infantry rifle from World War I, World War II, and beyond. Now this is also a Lee Enfield. But if you also didn't touch a boob until well after middle school, you might know it as the Jawa Blaster. But this is much more than just a cursed, cut-down Lee Enfield with a tube on the end. This actually has a very interesting and rich history, and we're gonna go into that a little bit, but we're also gonna shoot it. We've got a bunch of fun little projectiles for this thing today, so let's have some fun.
God, that thing looks beastly.
Now, so what we're using to launch projectiles out of this thing is basically just run-of-the-mill .303 British blanks. There's no bullet in it. We can load that up in our gun, chamber it, and then when we fire it, it's gonna build enough pressure to launch whatever projectile we want out the front of the gun and toward the target. Now, originally the big boys were made for launching smoke grenades. This one here, I'm told, was meant for launching actual hand grenades. Rip this blank out of here real quick. Apparently you just stick a sabot in and then a live grenade in the top, pull the pin, and just fucking let her rip. Hey, shit ass. Yep, so you load your projectile, drop a blank in like so, and then it's actually way brighter than I thought it would be. Blanks are fun.
Oh wow, that had a nice flash.
Now, in the original Star Wars film, this was used to capture droids. Now, since we don't have a custom load for that date rapey blue shit, seriously, I'm.
Why do I have the feeling somewhere in the EU it was used for that express purpose? Particularly the Disney EU. I have a very bad feeling in the Disney EU it was used exactly for that reason.
About as pro-gun as they come, but if that thing existed in real life, I don't think I'd trust anybody with it. But in lieu of that, we're gonna have to capture droids in a more practical way. All right, Nick, so what do we have here besides a BDSM dream catcher?
Well, I just made this so I can feel like a...
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry? A BDSM dream catcher would be far more pretty. With a lot more fucking chains. Okay, Brandy, you're a little lightweight on the amount of chains that you have in the BDSM dream catcher. Okay? Plus a very distinct lack of dangling ball gags and cuffs. Because those would have to go onto the BDSM dream catcher. God damn it. Get it right. I regret nothing.
Well, I just made this so I could feel like a festival girl, really, but... so we got a chain around the edge that provides some of the weight. Hopefully with this rifling on the wad itself, we can get a little bit of a spin to it, which is gonna hopefully push this chain on the outside, keep the net open.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a rifled slug because the...
Dole, just ask chat. It is known which. Just ask chat. They will be happy to tell you.
The tube itself doesn't have any rifling. It's all smoothbore. We're hoping that the sabot is going to be able to make up for that. I don't think that's the end of the hammer you're supposed to use. Good enough.
Dear YouTube viewers, Ember isn't a loot tuber.
I can enjoy some light spanking.
Damn it. The timing! The fucking time! You planned that. You fucking planned that, didn't you? You two actually planned that out. I'm on to you. Thank you, Sam Sparta. Thank you for the tier 1.
For some people.
Wait, what'd he say?
Good enough for sand people.
Good enough for sand people.
So now that we have our net loaded, it's probably a good time to explain this little vent here. This is kind of like an adjustable gas block, except not for a semi-automatic weapon. It's just for, you know, how hard do you want to launch something? Because if you close the vent all the way, you're at full power. There's no gas escaping through the side. I'm not sure if you could see it on the slow-mo, but you could probably see a little bit of fire popping out of here. Just bleeding off that extra energy depending on the sensitivity of your projectile or how far you want to throw it. All right, so now let's go catch ourselves a Roomba.
Here we go.
You are being rescued. Please do not resist. Kinda worked.
Kinda. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Brandon. If you're gonna want to fire a catch net at me and tangle me up, so my arms are pinned, my legs are pinned, and all I can do is just struggle around helplessly, trying desperately to escape while I'm laying on the ground watching my captor approaching me with deliberate intent. While I whimper and try to hold back the desperate moans. You're gonna have to do better than that. Much better. Oh, I'm in a cage! Chat, I'm in a cage! Why did you put me in a cage, chat? You know what this does to me. You know what this does to me. Chat, you don't want to do this. You know what it's gonna do to me. You know. You really want to leave me like this? Huh? Okay, you asked for it.
Our chain came undone, but it did kind of work. That is completely
Not
tangled
well
around.
enough.
Holy fuck. How'd that even manage to do that? There we go. Well, bad news. Much like a real festival girl, your costume came undone in the first 5 seconds.
Did you really have to add that, Brandon? About getting stripped? Did you really have to add that? That after getting wrapped up in those chains, that I might be stripped? No, Naga. No.
Great success. Let's move on to something a little bit more lethal.
So Brandon, you may be asking, why did you decide to bubba a beautiful piece of history just to make a dinky little Star Wars prop? Well, aggressive hypothetical viewer, short answer is we didn't. While yes, this is a Lee Enfield, in fact it was made in 1916 and survived the Great War, unfortunately after that it was deactivated and turned into a drill rifle with the bolt being welded shut. At some point along the way, it ended up in India, and by the time we got to it, it was absolutely just beat to shit. A bunch of the parts had already been replaced. It was covered in spray paint and a bunch of shit. Hopefully not literally. But picked it up for about $100, and by the time we got to it, all the historic value was pretty much gone. So instead of just being a beat up, non-functional gun, we were able to turn it into something that hopefully millions of people will enjoy.
Nomad test chat did. I'm free.
There's my station, chat. Snodgrass Landing. My station is called Snodgrass Landing.
Aren't I? Just because I'm a sub and get incredibly turned on when I'm caged doesn't mean I won't buck you for it.
Or at least tolerate.
So as we just mentioned before we loaded the net, this is a bit of a smooth bore, meaning that this could basically behave as a very short, sawn-off shotgun. So we got to thinking, and since the company is, you know, the AK guy, what better to use as our buckshot than a bunch of AK rivets?
Oh my god.
Because sometimes the droids misbehave and need to be taught a lesson.
Oh.
Best job.
Okay. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Honestly, I don't know how well this is actually going to fly out. Let me put it this way. I do think it's going to fire. I don't know how much distance it's going to get. Realistically, I honestly don't foresee a whole lot of distance being done with this. I just don't think the round is going to be powerful enough to throw it. Realistically speaking.
Job I ever had. Jawa Blaster Buckshot. Parry this, you filthy clanker.
It's tough that I can't really tell if the buckshot hit. That's the problem. It sends the Sabo. It sent the wadding, it sent the Sabo just fine. I don't think it actually did much with the rivets. I'm thinking it's really freaking hard to tell. But I don't think the rivets. Like, we see something here. Yeah, like, we're seeing something here. We're not even seeing the rivets flying. There's, like, no spread. The only thing that hit the target was the wadding. That was it. That was the only thing that hit the wadding, so not great.
Oh yeah, wow. You can see, I was wondering if they impacted decently hard. You can see, obviously, these are like full-size bullets, but the rivets, you can see each individual little impact mark.
Oh! Wait. Wow. Okay. I'm surprised. I didn't think any of them hit. We didn't hear any impact. The only impact we heard came from the wadding. I didn't think any of them impacted. Okay, I was wrong. I am surprised. This is some decent impacts. I don't know how lethal they could be, but some decent those are actually decent impacts on steel target. I wonder why we didn't hear them with the impact. I mean, yeah, it would hurt, Naga. Absolutely, it would fucking hurt. I'm wondering how lethal it would be. Like, he needs to try this on a soft target so we can see the lethality. It's like, on a steel target, it doesn't really give a good indicator. Well, okay, I'm surprised. I am surprised.
Not a terrible spread either.
It's time to talk about TacPack.
TacPack.
TacPack is your ultimate tactical subscription service, where you can get things like an SOG multi-tool.
TX, I'd be all for that.
It's gonna be really loud in this new office with no carpet or padding. Reptilia pistol grip, Mantis X dry fire training systems, Walker Digital Ear Pro, merch, and more. And new subscribers can use the code AKGuide to get an extra free box of tactical gear worth at least $60. That will ship inside your TacPack. So use the links down in the description and in the pinned comment, and remember, if it's your first time, use the code AKGuide. They'll go gentle. Thank you to TacPack. Back to the video.
All right, this one we're gonna shoot just to see what kind of pattern, what kind of spread we have on these rivets here.
Okay, good. That's what I want to see.
A White Claw penetration test, no less. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that recoil was...
See, Run and see the death. Get this fucking head off me. This is not the kind of hood that I like. This is the wrong kind of hood, chat. For God's sake, no, I prefer a more very tight, form-fitting one with the built-in blindfold. Yeah. Yeah, moving on. Yeah.
2, 1. Oh, that recoil was way sharper on the cock. Came close. How the fuck did we not hit it? Look at the, you can see there's rivets embedded in the dirt.
Oh, wow.
Around it. Yeah, a spread from up here to down here is straight up like, this is what fucking video game devs think that shotguns actually do. That was at what, fucking 10 feet? I think that recoil, because we packed that the wad at the end a little bit tighter, recoil was a lot sharper than I was expecting, and it missed the crown jewels by like ½ an inch. Well, it might have survived the rivets, but don't worry. We have plans for you. So something I think that's actually worth noting about this is that while this might be a pistol configuration of something that is pretty much blank fire only, this is legally registered as an SBR. Now this is because while it is perfectly legal to turn a pistol into a rifle, it is not legal, however, to turn a rifle into a pistol without it being an SBR by default. So even though there's really no stock to speak of, this bad boy is a short-barreled rifle. Even though, like said before, it is basically incapable of firing live ammunition and has no stock. Does that make sense to you? Me either. The ATF is gay, repeal the NFA. I swear, whoever's writing these firearm laws know nothing about firearms or weapons technology, which anybody can get their start in at sdi.edu.
Of course.
So next up, we're gonna be firing a White Claw. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, what we're using on all these different projectile loads is a form of wadding. You might recognize this from like a shotgun. Basically, when you have projectiles where you either have a lot of them or something that doesn't quite fit the size of your bore, you've kind of just got to use like a cup like this to at least seal off the gases so you can build pressure to be able to launch your projectile, or in this case, to kind of shim it so that it actually fits down the bore. Because if we just tried to send it with a White Claw, some of you might be having flashbacks to your bitch ex-wife. I'm just kidding, of course. I have never been married and have a great respect for women. Anyway, so we're gonna be using this, and now all of a sudden our White Claw fits relatively snug. There's a little movement there, but at the same time it's building that pressure and kind of cupping around the claw to be able to launch it. All right, well, ready to launch it? Sending a White Claw to hyperspace in 3.
Chat, do you all like and enjoy a nice cupping? Come on, you can be honest with me. Do you like cupping? Is it an enjoyable experience for you?
Be able to launch it. All right, well, ready to launch it? Sending a White Claw to hyperspace in 3, 2, 1.
Well then. Exploded right out of the barrel.
Well, that is what you call overpressure. This was our second prototype of the Claw Sabo, and apparently there's still a little bit too much ass on it. And we had the gas vent all the way open, but just that sudden acceleration is just too much for it to bear. He'll be missed. Also, 303 Brit is just kind of a schlong of a cartridge. Also, some of you might recognize this from Fortnite, because they apparently just added this to Fortnite. How do you do, fellow Zoomers?
Fortnite.
Also, yes, the gun wall is going up. Look, I know we're in like a fucking empty hostage room. The Gallotech is there on the ground. I've got more Gallotech on the way. This is gonna be a beautiful wall, bigger than any wall we've ever had. Does your empty office have an ACR in the corner? Didn't fucking think so, shut up. For me, personally, I dig the fact that
it's chat. Brandon has the tax wall. Nick has the tax couch. Brandon has the tax wall. Why not?
Whoever the prop guys were on Star Wars. I know that Star Wars has almost like got a meme about its gun culture, where all the guns that they use for props and that like are basically just World War II guns. Like you got MG-34s, Lewis guns. The Stormtrooper blasters are just like Sterling submachine guns. It's all just shit that they put like some wires and stuff on to make it look sci-fi.
Han's blaster was a
It's
monster.
vibe. I dig that there's historical context behind even little shit like the Jawa blaster, which apparently made another cameo in the new season of Andor. I haven't seen it. Fucking sue me. Disney Star Wars doesn't really excite me these days. We'll put up some pictures, but they really did use these little cut down Lee Enfields, and they put adapters on them for grenade launching, for smoke grenades and things like that, and they put them on tanks, on vehicles. They'd mount a couple of those fuckers up there and then just remotely trigger, you know, launching smoke grenades and stuff like that. It's incredibly practical. I mean, you already have a fuckload of these things hanging around. Yeah, I personally didn't even really know that was a thing until a couple months ago, or maybe a couple years ago, I saw one of these adapters for sale. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then of course I go face first down the rabbit hole, and here we are. Now, if you want to know more about how we built this thing, we have another episode of The Boys in the Garage available on Pepperbox now. It follows Zach and Nick as they talk about the process of putting this thing together and what all went into rebuilding the gun enough to be a Jawa blaster and what all the testing was like on it. So if you really like the more technical, nitty-gritty side to these videos, I highly recommend you checking that out on Pepperbox. It is down below. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment. It is a subscription. However, you can just start a free trial and watch the video. Here's a secret. If you don't like the rest of the content, you just fucking cancel. So if that interests you, go ahead and check it out. Let's go shoot some more shit. Now, trying to think of some cool projectiles, like what would be neat to shoot out of this Jawa blaster. One thing came to mind, which I'm sure several other people in the comments also thought about. Let's make it a 50 cal. Well, we really can't do that. It's not really how this works, but we can do the next best thing. Have it literally shoot a 50 cal. Why would we do that, you might ask? Well, when you fire the whole bullet, you get 60% more bullet per bullet. I see no way that this could go horribly wrong. Yes, this is a real saber that fits a 50 BMG. I was joking. I said we should do a version that has just a little ball bearing glued to the bottom so that on impact it causes the round to go off. That's a frankly horrible idea, and I'm not going to do it because I don't yet want to die. Now, in the interest of safety, we're not going to be using a live 50 BMG cartridge because, like said, but to replicate it, we will be using a 50 BMG dummy round to mimic the flight pattern of a 50 cal. Looks like
I do not see this going well.
Load her up.
I do not foresee this going
Wise
well.
words of Evel Knievel. Fuck it. Holy shit. Got some decent heat on that one.
Granted, it tumbled the second it left the
sign
barrel.
With enough ass to knock it over. That Sabo disintegrated. Finding little chunks here and there. I want to say the 50 BMG spun off this way.
I got another pedal right here.
Oh, really? That far? Damn.
Yeah, I mean, that 50 just, as soon as it left the barrel, it was tumbling.
We ain't found shit.
Well, ladies and gents, that is the Jawa blaster. Hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I think this is neat because, again, at heart, I'm a bit of a nerd. I know you guys are too. If you want to see more like Hollywood hybrid stuff like that, please let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, please check to see if you are still subscribed. YouTube is still unsubscribing people. It really hurts my fucking fifis when they do that. But to be sure that you don't miss any of our future stuff, check and make sure that you are subscribed. Big shout out to the boys in the garage for, again, helping this thing come to life so we can show it to you. That about wraps it up. As always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Bye. Really glad there wasn't a blank still in there. I cleared it, but you never know.
Fuel is my obsession to make the perfect weapon. Like Rasputin's rise to the top.
This was a bad day to wear a white shirt. Should have worn the brown pants. Yeah, this gun was an India bringback. Yeah, just from a personal... Oh, cover the microphone, don't do that. Hello, can you hear me? Probably not well.
That was fun. And interesting. And very interesting.